Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Tuesday evening to you all. Hope you guys are doing well this evening. Have had a great day and a great week so far. Hope you guys are staying cool and safe. You know, it's been a weird day. We were expecting one of the hottest days of the year for parts of the Southeast, maybe the hottest day in maybe 2 to 3 years in parts of the Southeast. But there was a big-time wild card today as a complex of storms moved out of Virginia into North Carolina, throughout the Carolinas in general, and then since pivoted all the way to the panhandle of Florida. This helped to limit temperatures from climbing as high as they probably should have climbed, which I was thinking maybe here in parts of the central South Carolina, they could climb all the way up to maybe 105 degrees. I really was thinking, but thank God that did not happen. So the warmth is still going to be there tomorrow. Hot weather expected. There's a couple things we're going to talk about in this video, and we're not going to spend too long on each part, but the first topic we're going to nail down tonight is the active weather expected across portions of Wisconsin tomorrow, where we have a significant tornado threat. And then we're going to talk about the tropics, and we're going to talk about the ongoing heat, because it is going to be hot again tomorrow. But again, tomorrow there will also be a wild card threat for a complex of storms, what we call an MCS, a mesoscale convective system, a ridge rider, if you will. These complex of storms right around this ridge of high pressure and can cool people off and save the day as far as the temperatures not getting as high as forecasted like they did here in the Carolinas today. But if you guys have not subscribed, definitely consider doing that. It goes a really long way, especially in the slower times. And I really appreciate the support. I really appreciate the people who have joined my channel. Haven't checked on you guys a lot lately, but I really appreciate you guys who continue to support my channel monthly, even in these tough times. A lot of people are going through rough times. So I really appreciate people who just view my channel. But if you ever thought about joining, the join tab's there, and it's just a way to support what I do monthly. I got around 17, 18 incredible members who do that, so I appreciate you guys. Hit me up on my social media platforms over there. It's a great way to stay on top with the latest and greatest when I can't make a quick video to obviously update y'all. But if you guys got anything that I can pray about, please put it in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it, and it gives a lot of others an opportunity to do so too. So let's get rolling. First thing we'll talk about is the big-time severe weather threat tomorrow. On average, when we get later in the storm season, when we get later in the year in general, later in summer, the jet stream on average begins to shift back north until it starts to come back down south, where we have a secondary severe weather season in the fall across portions of the eastern U.S. So severe weather is going to be ongoing tomorrow across a large portion of Wisconsin, areas of northern Michigan, there's also going to be an area of Iowa, and then areas of Minnesota we got to watch out for. Then there's going to be a slight risk of severe storms down here in areas of the southeast and deep south in general, as there is a chance that as these storms pivot around this ridge here, that more storms can fire up. But let's focus on this. There is a 10% chance of a tornado, 25 miles in any given location, in this yellow area right here. This Hatch region, which is almost in the same region, there is also a 10% chance, this Hatch region, meaning the black outline region, also a 10% chance to see a significant tornado. That is an EF2 or higher. The wind threat is going to be big also. You're going to have a 30% chance to see damaging winds in 25 miles in any given location in this red area. And then the hail threat is going to be big, especially with any individual supercells that can come into their own, take advantage of their own environment. You could have a wind-driven hailstorm where hail's blowing sideways. We don't want that. And golf ball to even baseball-sized hail is possible with this 30% chance of 1 inch or diameter hail. And then in the Hatch region, you have a 10% chance of seeing 2-inch or diameter hail or larger in parts of this 30% risk. So an active day expected tomorrow. I want to mention the heat advisories were dropped across portions of the Carolinas today, especially South Carolina, already earlier this afternoon. When this area of storms moved through, it moved through at the perfect time. It moved through about mid to late morning. So the atmosphere was never able to really recover and heat back up. So therefore, we hit our hottest temperature of the day here in my neck of the woods here in Columbia around early to mid-morning. It quickly rose up to about 88, 89 degrees, and it never got that high again. And that's because the big-time cloud deck behind this line of storms moved in, just a lot of cloud cover, and really prevented us from really warming up. But heat advisory is still up for a large chunk of the country here. And the purple here, that is an excessive heat warning, so it's really serious. The criteria lowers the more north you go as far as how hot that you have to hit heat advisory wise and heat index wise for this to become a watch or warning or an advisory level heat alert. So water vapor loop, we'll see what's going on. An upper trough is about to kind of pivot through the northern plains. With it, a punch of dry air will move through. You actually have a winter storm in western areas of Montana. It's rather impressive for this time of the year, even for those higher elevations, snow levels at 5,500 feet. Very impressive setup. Got a guy out there that I follow on Twitter takes awesome weather videos and made a video, and it's like a winter wonderland in the middle of June in areas of Montana. Really impressive. Ridging is still built all the way up into the Great Lakes, and with it, you have a directional flow around this ridging of high pressure like this. So a complex of storms. This is the same area of storms that moved through areas of the Carolinas earlier this morning. This piece of energy actually started off. Now, it isn't part of the same piece of energy, but it kind of is at the same time. It started off as a lone supercell in Milwaukee, Wisconsin this time last night and tracked all the way through Michigan, all the way through the Ohio Valley, the Mid-Atlantic, down through the Carolinas, and now I wouldn't call it the same piece of energy, but it's associated with the same kind of setup. And these storms have just been ripping and riding this ridge all the way into the panhandle of Florida, all the way into Alabama. Very impressive setup here. But this is the area we watch tomorrow with a highly unstable atmosphere in Wisconsin that's going to develop. So let's look at a more broad view of what's going to happen into the overnight hours into tomorrow. So what I am expecting is a complex of thunderstorms that's going to develop, that's actually going to promote some severe weather in portions of Nebraska into Iowa, probably here in the next couple hours. This will continue to move northeast across areas of Iowa as we're getting into about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning into areas of southern Minnesota, and then eventually into areas of Wisconsin. Now, this might be a little bit of a wild card here, a factor. Will this limit initiation of storms behind this? Because this complex of storms, as the sun's coming up for Wisconsin, you guys are going to be dealing already with some storms. These will track all the way into northern Michigan. I got a guy who is a loyal listener here. You guys will probably already be dealing possibly with some storms around early to mid-morning, maybe even late morning. But then behind this, we'll watch to see if this atmosphere destabilizes, and most model guidance is thinking it will. And with a kind of a surface low that's going to be riding this boundary here with this upper trough pulling through, a moist, unstable atmosphere will build in this region. In fact, it's already kind of built into this region. And ahead of it, you will have big-time forcing. It will initiate some nasty storms. And then you're going to have the possibility for a few isolated supercells to form. Now, this could develop into a mesoscale convective system, a line of storms, a line of broken up storms. But this is around 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon across Wisconsin. I'll get a closer up look here in a second. And these will move across Wisconsin into the evening hours, into northern areas of Lake Michigan, into the northern areas of Michigan in general, and cross the Great Lakes into the overnight hours. But this will be a line of broken up storms, possibly showing up all the way from eastern Kansas through Missouri, through eastern Iowa, through Wisconsin, maybe even areas of northern Illinois late tomorrow evening. So we'll watch this unfold. Now, I will mention, let's go on and look at this. Actually, I actually meant to have this pulled up right here. Let's go to the 18Z and see how this is going to unfold tomorrow. Like I said, a closer up look. These storms will move through. These aren't the ones to really worry about and focus about. This is the early morning convection that moves through. But as we're getting into the afternoon hours, this storm here in northern Wisconsin, these storms here in west central Wisconsin, these are the ones that could really produce a strong tornado. A very bad tornado is potentially possible here, an EF2 or higher. So it's something we need to pay attention to. I know this isn't necessarily a heavily populated area, but that doesn't matter. You never know when one of these small towns up here could get impacted. So please be careful. Madison, Wisconsin, you want to watch out down there in that area also. But these storms will race across Wisconsin. And then watch out areas around Green Bay. As you're getting into around dinner time, these will probably start to lose somewhat of their punch. But I do think, who knows, there could be a big-time supercell that moves somewhere near Green Bay sometime tomorrow evening. Large hail, all threats on the table with this. All threats on the table, but two of the big threats we're really watching out for is large hail and the chance for a stronger EF2 or higher tornado. So please be weather aware across Wisconsin throughout the afternoon hours tomorrow. And we look at the significant tornado parameter. I don't show this much because sometimes it's just misleading, but it has STP values reaching and spiking to around 11 or 12 in this area. And in general, we look at this to kind of tell us how the atmosphere is as far as, is the atmosphere primed for a tornado? It's not going to tell you, hey, a tornado is going to form right here in Wisconsin. It's saying, hey, with the storms that we're trying to predict where they're going to be, we think this particular storm has a high chance to produce a tornado. So the higher the number, the higher chance of a tornado in general. But watch out. Green Bay gets very close to you guys. Tornado parameter, significant tornado parameter begins to spike into the late evening hours for you guys tomorrow. And you can see what happens here, the dry air in the Dakotas. But ahead of it, we are going to have a pretty moist atmosphere. It's going to be very warm and humid as you're waking up in Wisconsin tomorrow, in Iowa, Illinois. And then this is really going to build even more into tomorrow morning. And then we'll watch that first storm, and then the atmosphere will reload. Atmosphere will destabilize in this region, big time forcing due to that surface low riding the base of this upper trough. It's going to spark storms here. So a big time moist environment, a large warm sector. I mean, the entire eastern U.S. is a moist sector right now. It's just that time of the year where the dew points are outrageous and it just feels awful outside. So tomorrow, now I will mention, I'm going to show you this, but this is going to change more than likely. We watch the HRRR model tomorrow. Maybe areas of Georgia gets in with the storms tomorrow. Areas of Georgia already got the storms, but maybe up towards Atlanta. You guys got pretty warm today. You guys could see some storms tomorrow afternoon initialize. But then we still watch up here in the mid-Atlantic. Some areas of storms could fire up and make their way throughout the evening hours. This is very hard to forecast when how these things really develop here. The video I made last night, it didn't really materialize that great. There was a lot of meteorologists across the mid-Atlantic that kind of got all ragged on. But you got to understand, when it comes to severe weather, this is one of the toughest things to forecast is mesoscale convective systems, how they ride around this ridge. Sometimes they gust themselves out. And there is a lot more going on in the atmosphere than what we just see at a base level. There really is, guys. There's a lot of things that I can't probably explain to the best of my capabilities that a lot more people probably could. But just know that there's a lot more that goes into weather from what you're seeing at surface value, if you kind of get what I'm saying. But potential high temperatures tomorrow. Potential. HRRR model for Wednesday. Look, if storms do not form in the morning again, you're going to have another shot at the hundreds. And well above 100 too. Columbia, Augusta, maybe pushing 103, 104 degrees tomorrow. Tomorrow might make up for what did not happen today. So please take precautions, because tomorrow, I think today, out this entire heat wave, today was supposed to be the hottest day, but these storms really saved us. But tomorrow is going to be hotter for areas of the southeast than what Monday was. I really think it could potentially be. But whoever gets storms that pops up in the late morning, early afternoon hours, you guys will not reach your potential maxed high temperature. So you're going to be hoping and praying for storms. Now, sometimes these storms can cause damage, but you either take that risk or you take, your AC bill running up and going sky high. I know nobody likes that, especially if you have an older unit. Trust me, I've been there, done that. It does not like these high temperatures, especially if your ductwork quite ain't there and you don't have great insulation in your house. I really feel for you guys because I was there in this house when we first bought it. We had a really old cylinder style AC unit. Our ductwork was jacked up and I had to pay for all that all over again. Yada, yada, yada. Thankfully, we're not there yet, but we're not there anymore. But please stay safe tomorrow. But the humidity is going to be outrageous in these areas too. It's not just the Carolinas and in Georgia and things like that. I mean, it's going to get into the mid to upper 90s again into the Ohio Valley, which is very warm for that time of the year. So the latest 2 p.m. update from the National Hurricane Center has a 30% chance of development with this system down here. This has a decent chance to become Bonnie, but right now really not expected to become Bonnie. Either way, it's not going to affect the lower 48. It's just going to bring a lot of showers and storms for Central America. But it just tells you in general that the tropics is beginning to slowly come alive. Very slowly. You just get deeper into June. You start to get into July, the main development region in the tropical Atlantic begins to heat up a little bit, and then we start to get into August and things really turn up a notch. But this is what's going on here. The screen's going dark on this side because the sun is setting obviously from east to west. But this is the area right here, just a big broad area of showers and storms. And this is really going off because you have a monsoon trough down here. And this CAG, Central American Gyrum, is interacting with this monsoon trough. It's producing some spins, and therefore you're just having a little bit of tropical development deep in the southwest Caribbean. Now, due to this big time ridging across the eastern U.S. and central U.S., this is bogging this down into Central America. Maybe if this ridging wasn't into areas of the lower 48, maybe this would ride a little bit more north, have a chance to develop deeper into the Caribbean, and maybe sneak into the Gulf of Mexico like the GFS is trying to say, which, by the way, the GFS is horrible this year. It is verifying very bad. It's grading out very bad, and it's just not doing good. And I hate this because it's supposed to be new and improved, but I'll tell you what, it is performing horrible. It really is. But this really isn't going to affect anybody in the U.S., but just expect a lot of showers and storms for Central America. The track shows just that. Maybe bows out into areas of the Western Caribbean again. Maybe sneaks into the Bay of Campeche after affecting areas of the Yucatan. But in general, this is not expected to get into the Gulf of Mexico where it's a threatening scenario. So that's all I got. God bless all y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I'll talk to y'all in the morning.